Alright, hello, my name's Ned, and this is episode 4, part 2 of Ned's Declassified Legal Survival Guide. And this is a mini-series I call Build Logic, and in this part of the episode I'm going to be talking about penetration items. So, for penetration, magic, or armor, the same logic is going to apply. You're going to want, if they don't have a whole lot of armor, if they haven't bought any armor items, you're going to want flat penetration. Items like Yomus, Sorcerer's Shoes, Haunting Guys. Not necessarily upgrading the Haunting Guys into Leandries, but because Leandries has percent health damage, which is also better later. Uh, or what's another flat penetration item that I can't think of right now? I don't know. Maybe does Duskblade have flat penetration? I'm not sure. But items like that. Oh, Abyssal Scepter kind of counts because it's magic resist reduction and it's flat value. And then later in the game, when they've stacked a whole bunch of armor or magic resist, you're going to want percent penetration because it's just simple math. So let's do the math. Let's say you have a Blast Whisper, which I think gives 40% armor penetration. You're going to, if they have 300 armor, 40% of 300 is 120. So you're going to take them all the way down to 180 armor. And then that's obviously reducing 120 of their armor is much better than the reducing 20 or however much it is from Yomu's Ghostblade. 30, 20, whatever. Clearly 120 is a bigger value than that. But in the early game, when they only have 30 armor, 50 armor we could even say, so 40% of 50 is 20. And so then you're getting the exact same value from the penetration of your Yomus and the penetration of the Less Whispers, but the Yomus is just more valuable in terms of overall stats. That's why you'll see the pros rush the Yomus first, and they wouldn't rush a stupid item like uh, Lord Dominic's or Mortal Reminder. And then, I forgot to mention this, there's stacking percent penetration items like Black Cleaver. And I think that people tend to buy, like even the pros tend to buy this item a little too quickly because, again, it's stacking percent penetration and you would benefit more from the raw stats of the flat penetration early. But I will say this, the item is just so valuable in terms of just overall cost and benefit from it because it's a pretty cheap item and it has a really beneficial build path with the phage and the whatever that hammer is called. Uh, that it's still valuable to get in terms as a second item, maybe a third item, because even though they don't have that armor to make the percentages too valuable quite yet, the raw stats from it are still pretty valuable. So that's why people buy it so early. I prefer to buy it as more of a fourth item. Maybe just have the phage and hang on to it for the movement speed. Uh, Bonus I get for hitting and the survivability from the health. But other people to each their own, right? For the magic penetration, it's interesting because the same logic applies. You want the flat penetration from your boots, your sorcerer's shoes, your haunting guys, stuff like that. Oh, and or the magic resist aura reduction from the abyssal scepter early. And then you want the percent penetration later, such as the void staff. So, and I actually have a question on this, which is how in what order that all applies. And I've always wondered this, and I haven't been able to find any information on online. If you guys know something, you can direct me to a source or just tell me in the comments. I would love to hear it. But my question is, does the percent penetration, the magic resist reduction aura, and or flat penetration apply first, and what all order do they apply? So ideally, how you'd want it to apply is you'd want your percent penetration from the void staff to attack their full magic resist. So let's say we'll use the value of 300. Let's say they have 300 magic resist. The percent penetration from 40% from the void staff would take that down 120 to 180. Then the magic resist reduction aura from your from your abyssal scepter would kick in. So I don't know what that is. It's probably 20. So it'd take it down to 140. And then again, you'd have the flat penetration from your sorcerer's shoes, which would take it down to 125. So that's ideally how you'd want it to work. But how it probably ends up working is that the reduction aura applies before the percent penetration, which means you're not getting as much out of the percent penetration, and ultimately that number 125, it's not that low. It's something a little bit higher. I'm not gonna. Oh, I'll do the math. I can pull up a calculator out of my computer right now. So let's say the 20% or the 20 flat reduction applies before. So that takes it down to 280, and then times 0.4 for the 40% reduction. It gets you 112. So 280 minus 112 equals. Hang on. 168, and then the 15 applies to that. So 168 minus 15 is 153. So clearly, 153 is not as big of a value, or is much bigger, more magic resist that they're going to have afterwards than 125 is. So you can see how the order of affecting penetration might work. So that's why I typically don't like to stack items like Abyssal Scepter and Void Staff. I'll either get the Void Staff or I'll get the Abyssal Scepter, because I do think the percent penetration applies before the flat penetration, but I'm not sure if it applies before the aura. So until I figure that out, I'm going to continue buying my Void Staff separately from my Abyssal Scepter, in most cases. Alright, I think that's where I'll leave off this video. I know it was kind of short and it's on a very specific topic, but I will be continuing more videos on build logic because I have a lot to say about it.